What's up, guys? It's Drac, and it's time for a versus video. So this is a versus video that I wanted to do as soon as I first saw the Voidcaster and knew that it would be a double action blaster. I had to compare it to the Snapfire-8 because the Snapfire-8 is my personal favorite double action blaster. Now, we'll give a quick history lesson on both of these blasters, and then we'll define double action. So, this is a brand new Alien Menace blaster. It's showing up in Toys R Us's around the country. It is a Smart AR 4 dart capacity, 8 dart storage, almost sci-fi-esque, very, very funky blaster with different fleshy textures on it and a really cool look and feel. And then the Snapfire-8 is from, I want to say, 2011. It's part of the Dart tagline. It was also a Toys R Us exclusive, and it is a pistol instead of using a Smart AR system, since that wasn't really running around back then. The Snapfire-8 utilizes a revolver mechanism, and that is just as good in this platform. Now, whereas me without something to cut this open, how funny is that? Whereas the Alien Menace has a direct inline kind of plunger with its double action system, the Snapfire, its plunger handle sort of system down here goes into the handle and utilizes the entirety of the space that the blaster takes up, which is why it is a little bit smaller than the Voidcaster, and yet has twice the actual firing capacity of the blaster. Now, there are a few primary differences. Obviously, this is a revolver, and the Voidcaster is... I don't even know how you describe this. What would you guys say? It's not a primary. It's not quite a secondary. Sometimes I say pseudo-primary for things that don't fit into that category. This is more like a pseudo-secondary. However, to define double action, a double action blaster is something that fires and primes in a single motion. So pulling the trigger on the Snapfire-8 depresses the spring here and fires. Now, the faster you do it, the better off you are. The Voidcaster, in this case, it primes as you push back all the way here, and then at the end there is a release and it kicks forward. So that is how they both work, and that's really cool because while we've been spoiled by flywheels, they are both one-hand wieldable, double-action Springer style, almost pistols, or in this case, pseudo-pistols, and that makes them comparable. They are very different. One is kind of like a tactical, it was built for dart tag competition style play, and this one is clearly built for Alien Menace style, almost like role play fun in and around the house. Neither one is a performance piece. For the purpose of this review, since I have like a pretty strong grip, I'm going to set the Snapfire-8 all the way to power, and that is one thing that was really cool about the Snapfire-8 that the Voidcaster didn't have, is that the Snapfire-8 has this dial at the bottom, and I cover this in my full review, but if you tilt it this way, it's very, very easy to pull this trigger very quickly, so the speed is in terms of the rate of fire, and then if you tilt it all the way down, you increase the amount of force, which does improve the FPS of the darts or the speed of the darts, but you can see it's a much stiffer trigger pull. Now, there are downsides to both platforms. This one only has a 4-dart capacity and is ergonomically very difficult to holster and kind of wonky. This one, on the other hand, has a very strange trigger pull by its very nature, and so I found myself frequently using my middle finger to pull instead, and that leads to its own set of problems. You can see down here, as I pull this through, there's a groove here, and since the trigger curves back like so, you wind up grinding your finger and whatever knuckle is at the tip of your finger into that groove, and over time it can kind of cut into you. Now, my really good friend Chicken of the SCNC uses these in HVZ as like a dual-wieldable 16-shot kind of thing, and just like how stripes work really well for that purpose, they work pretty well for that purpose as well. He kind of combines them with a blowgun to create a very quiet loadout that does not weigh a lot and suits almost a role. It's not necessarily a solo player loadout. It works very well in teams. The Voidcaster has not been out long enough for anybody to HVZ field test it, but I'll be certain to do that at some point. Now, the Snapfire-8 came with dart tag darts, which are very different, and at this point functionally extinct on the market. Everything uses an Elite or Elite compatible dart or system. I really liked Tagger darts. They flew very well and they whistled, which was kind of cool. So for the purpose of testing this, we're going to use respectively decent ammo for each one. And we'll use what they are designed for, but that's a pretty bad dart. Sure, why not? We'll do one AccuStrike, an Elite Dart, and Doomlands Dart. Why not? So there we have these, and then we'll fire 4 from the Snapfire-8, and we'll kind of get a feel for which one fires further, I guess. So shoulder length, firing with my arms outstretched. Very dependent, but as I said in the review, this can get anywhere up to about 35 feet. We've torqued this dial all the way down to power. Let's see how it performs with its Whistler darts. And not only is it more consistent, but it also performs much better. So when you consider that these guys cost roughly the same, and the crazy thing is, even though this blaster is very, very old, it's still like readily available at certain Toys R Us's. It's very inexpensive. I think that these days you can buy a Snapfire-8 for about $20, which is what the Voidcaster costs anyway, and you can certainly find them on eBay for less. We're going to go ahead and make a Do-Re-Mi bundle here, which just means that all of these are different kinds of darts. The only reason that I can see to prefer the Voidcaster over the Snapfire-8, in my personal opinion, is if the dart storage is really, really important to you. If you really enjoy having the ability to store 8 darts on either side underneath your firing hand. So, I mean, like all of these verses break down to, this one's going to come down to practicality, in my opinion, versus aesthetic. I think that the Voidcaster looks way cooler. It is a much more handsome blaster. It's got far more flavor text to it, to borrow from another Hasbro property. But this is a much more practical for Nerf wars. It's better in terms of its performance. It has the ability to change, so it's modular in terms of its abilities, sort of, kind of. And, I mean, it holds more. Like, double the capacity is nothing to be scoffed at. Now, since they are double action, both blasters have an inherent issue with accuracy, and I will try to demonstrate that by aiming at this blaster board's target here. We'll take a fair step back. This is about where, like, you'd get your last real shot at a zombie before they dived and tried to, like, sweep your legs or something. So you can see I'm pointing directly at it, and yet we hit the target above the one that I'm aiming for. That was pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, so, I mean, 2 out of 4 is not bad, right? And then we'll be super duper fair here. We will reset the target more or less, and we'll hit it with the Snapfire-8. I'll try and fire the funky darts. All funky darts. Let's go. A little high. Pretty close. Little high. And I mean, maybe you just have to compensate for that. I'll fire the rest of the tagger darts and see if I can adjust for my hop up or so. And again, like, not quite the exact, the fist-sized target that I'm aiming for there, but also not bad. I mean, most hit the plate. I think both blasters are effective. They're really not primaries, again, so they don't have to do everything. But I think that they're pretty cool. Also, as an aside, this one requires no aesthetic work, in my opinion. I think that it's just a really good-looking blaster to begin with, and this was always kind of boring. I really loved repainting the Snapfire-8. So my opinion is that the Snapfire-8 is better, but I think that the Voidcaster requires less love. And in the spirit of fair play, sometimes you get a really good Snapfire-8, and the mechanisms in them were so delicate and kind of funky, and the quality control, frankly, wasn't that great, that sometimes you just get a really bad Snapfire-8 that either wasn't rotating or wasn't getting a good air seal and would perform very, very poorly. So it's nice to know that that's a good one. Another good one is this one. So a while ago, when I was just doing hydrographics to get better at hydrographics and practicing my craft, I ripped off all of the orange or the yellow on the body of this one, and I dipped it in my Fanger Red with the Nosferatu vampire film over it. Hopefully you guys can see. Probably have to use the sunlight here just a little bit, but that turned out really nicely. We've got the vampire and the bats flying all through it, and then I added a Drac logo. There was no way to get rid of the embossed 8. I mean, I guess I could have Bondoed and sanded it, but I didn't care that much. But I was very happy with how it turned out, and then I forgot about it. Hilariously, I never made a full video on it because it really didn't have any internal modifications. There's not a lot that you can do to something that that inherently is variable like this. So that's it. I just took it apart, sanded it down, painted it, hydrograph dipped it, added a vinyl logo that says Drac, and then 2K cleared over it and reassembled it. So this turned out very, very nice. It is one of a kind. I probably will not be making another one like it. And this one is available on eBay, because if I was capable of forgetting about it in my workshop for that long, then it definitely deserves a better home with somebody that will utilize it to its fullest potential. So this is on my eBay right now. Hopefully you guys check that out if you want to. The link is in the description box below. If not, there are more videos coming up that you can check out in just a minute on this end screen. But thank you guys very much for watching. Much love. Nerf on, Drac out. Don't forget to comment and tell me which one you would prefer. They're roughly 20 bucks each. Would you rather have a Voidcaster or a Snapfire-8? It's your money to spend. Let me know.